And we're set to go here in Minneapolis, an enthusiastic crowd on hand. Brad Childress, who this week received a contract extension to 2013, ending all of that speculation. And Jim Mora, who is really proud of the effort, but is looking for results from the Seahawks. His first season as the head coach of this team after being the head coach for the Atlanta Falcons. The Seahawks have won the toss, and they'll get the ball first. And there's Ryan Longwell. And Ryan Longwell goes back not only to the days with Brett Favre in Green Bay, but to Matt Hasselbeck in Green Bay as well. Louis Rankin and Ben Obermano are back. That's Rankin, the speedster who has shown well in kickoff returns since he's been activated. Game is underway. And it's going to be Obermano from the 2. And a return close to the 30-yard line. And that's where Seattle will start. And Matt Hasselbeck, feeling better each week, had the broken ribs and the shoulder problem. The offensive line has been finally healthy. Sean Locklear, the key man at left tackle. And a career game last week for the running back Justin Forsett, with Julius Jones out of action. First down, here is Forsett. And he gets maybe a yard on the first play. So Matt Hasselbeck, who has been a warrior and has thrown for over 300 yards in his last 2 starts, but has thrown a lot of passes. 51 2 weeks ago, 52 this week, and now he's going out left, the Wildcat, with Seneca Wallace coming in at quarterback on 2nd and 9. Hasselbeck, the fake to him, and a flag goes down, and Seneca Wallace going downfield, and the pass is dropped by Nate Burleson, the former Viking, but a penalty marker thrown back at the 20. Referee is Ed Hockley.
Holding, offense number 89. The penalty is declined. Brings up 3rd down. That's
John Carlson, the tight end.
Seattle continues to try to expand what they call the Seneca package. Matt Hasselbeck on the field. They fake what appears to be a throw to Matt Hasselbeck to set up the double throw and brought Seneca Wallace back to the short side. He ends up throwing it deep to Nate Burleson, incomplete, but all would have been for naught anyway with a holding penalty on John Carlson.
Deion Branch has come in at the 3rd wide receiver, and there is Jared Allen with 10.5 sacks, ready to charge, and the pass thrown past Forsett, incomplete. So quickly, 3 and out, and 4th down coming up, and John Ryan will come in to kick. Darius Raynaud, who returned last week, he had missed 5 games with a hamstring injury, is standing at about the 25. And running up to make the catch at the 28 is Raynaud. Breaks through some defenders and does a good job of getting to the 41-yard line. As Brett Favre making his 301st consecutive start, and the magical season continues for Brett Favre. And the Vikings scoring at a 30-point per game clip, 2nd best to the Saints, and the left guard Steve Hutchinson faces his former mates.
And with this team is pick your poison. Do you defend Adrian Peterson's legs or Brett Favre's arm?
And a good starting field position from the 41-yard line. And a false start penalty.
False start, offense, number 71, 5-yard penalty. First down.
And not the way the Vikings, of course, wanted to start with the rookie Phil Lodeholt. So it'll be 1st and 15. And the defensive unit for the Seahawks, with 2 cornerbacks suffering from concussions. Marcus Trufant is playing, and the other one, Josh Wilson, is not, replaced by Kelly Jennings.
So how would this team choose to defend Brett Favre? Last week, they dropped a lot of people into coverage against Kurt Warner.
Percy Harvin is in action in the handoff to Adrian Peterson, and it's clogged up in the middle. And Peterson has stopped, leading the way Brandon Mebane, and a gain of only 1.
Little shaky start for both teams on offense to begin this game. Seattle comes out with their Phantom Raider, tries to get a big play early in their Seneca Wallace package. A penalty against them. They don't complete the pass, miss a pass on third down. The Vikings jump off sides on first down. Second play doesn't gain much.
And the Seahawks looking to get a better pass rush. It's second down and 14. Kleinsasser, the second tight end, in motion to the slot. Favre flips it out, and holding on to it is Adrian Peterson, and he makes the catch and is stopped short of the 40-yard line. So not much there, 3 yards. And third down coming up. So last year, Adrian Peterson caught 21 passes. So far in 9 games, he's matched that total with more yards.
And what we saw on that play was the continued expansion of Brett Favre's game, being able to go to the check down here in Minnesota because he realizes the number of players that he can get the ball to that can do damage.
6 defensive backs and Lawyer Malloy, who is expected to play considerably in the defensive secondary for Seattle. On third down and 12. Favre is going to get sacked inside his 30-yard line, and Darryl Tapp leading the way. The Seahawks looking for a better pass rush, and they got one there and a loss of 9.
Not only were they looking for a better pass rush, they wanted it from 4 guys up front. That's exactly what they got. Why? Because the coverage downfield helped them. No one open for Sidney Rice. And he looks to the other side, Bernard Berrien being trailed by Ken Lucas. And that allowed the pass rush led by Darryl Tapp to get to Brett Favre.
So Chris Kluwe will punt. And a whistle.
Neutral zone infraction by the defense, 5-yard penalty. It's still 4th down.
So it'll be 4th down and about 16. And Nate Burleson, who has 3 punt returns for over 90 yards for touchdowns, the only player in the league to do that. So Brett Favre quickly to the sideline, as Matt Hasselbeck did for the Seahawks. And here is Kluwe's punt, and Burleson is going to let it bounce. And it takes a Minnesota hop. Second possession for the Seahawks, and they start from the 20. Houshmandzadeh and a bobbled ball, and covering up is Hasselbeck back at the 10. So a fumble, and again, Chris Spencer, the center, who suffered a sprained thumb last week, and we're not saying this was the problem, but he has to center with his left hand instead of his right for the 2nd straight week.
And we talked about this with Matt Hasselbeck, and he told us that he has to spend a little extra time under center with Chris Spencer snapping with his opposite hand, so he had to talk himself through the rules of quarterback-center exchange. Unfortunately, they bobbled it on that play.
Second down and 20. Back at the 10. And the quick toss to Houshmandzadeh, T.J. Houshmandzadeh, and Chad Greenway jumped on him from the top, but a 9-yard pickup. They get 9 of the 20 back. There's the Vikings defense. They lead the NFL in sacks by a wide margin, but they too have some issues in the secondary.
Antoine Winfield is again out. His replacement, Benny Sapp, is not 100%. So if there's one area of concern for Minnesota, it's their back 4 on defense.
Third down and 11. Inside handoff to Forsett. And Forsett brings it out to the 24-yard line. 4-yard pickup. Ray Edwards making the tackle. And a punting situation for the 2nd time for Seattle.
When you talk with people around the league, they say that Leslie Frazier, the defensive coordinator of Minnesota, runs a pretty basic, almost vanilla type defense. But he's showing a lot of looks today while they're still getting back to their normal 2 and 3 deep coverage, trying to confuse Matt Hasselbeck a little bit.
Ryan punting to Raynon. Good hang time by Ryan. Raynon fields it inside the 20 and is put down at the 21-yard line. Brett Favre and the Vikings with their 2nd possession, starting from their 21-yard line. 3 interceptions through the first 9 games, the fewest in his career.
Where you going?
Favre pass up the middle, and Visante Shanko, the tight end. So many places for Brett Favre to go. He got 8 yards on that play, as 5 minutes now have elapsed in the first quarter.
And Visante Shanko can run any route you want from a tight end. He can run up the seam and really stretch the defense, hook it inside, catch the ball for the 8-yard gain, especially dangerous in the red zone.
And his 6 touchdowns, second amongst tight ends in the league. 2nd and 2. And Adrian Peterson with the carry, and he'll be hit and stopped shy of the first down. And Leroy Hill, along with David Hawthorne, come by to make the play. And so that'll bring up 3rd and short.
David Hawthorne, who has 4 career starts, combines with Leroy Hill for a big hit on Adrian Peterson. And you know there has to be some anxiety going into a game for David Hawthorne playing against Adrian Peterson. I think that anxiety went away with that hit.
Always when you get that first hit, you always told me that. Anyway, leading the team in tackles with 55 and 3 picks. 3rd down and 1. And the pitch to Peterson. Adrian Peterson gets the first down, and a few more. Lawyer Malloy finally brings him down, but not before Peterson picks up 9 to the 39-yard line of the Vikings.
You know, we can talk all we want about the expansion of Adrian Peterson's game, his improved blocking, catching the ball in the backfield, but this is what makes him great. His ability to run the football and run it violently, lowering his head to get the extra yard, half yard, giving up his body on just about every play.
You know, and no wonder Brett Favre only has 3 interceptions, because he's got a great running game and he's got a great defense, so he doesn't have to force it. First down for the Vikings. And again, it's Peterson. And a gain of about 1 yard. 2nd down and 9. Favre getting a pass rush, steps up, and it's caught by Shanko. Visante Shanko going high to make the catch, just in Seahawk territory to the 49 with Hawthorne on the coverage downfield.
It's hard to believe that Visante Shanko in 2007 had a case of the drops. Watch the concentration on this play. Brett Favre with a little bit of movement, creates enough space to get the pass off, and Shanko turns back into the play, makes the catch, and secures it.
11-yard gain and a first down. Here's Peterson. And Peterson is stopped for no gain by Colin Cole, who played his last 5 seasons with the Green Bay Packers. Corey Redding was acquired from the Detroit Lions for Julian Peterson to try to help the Seattle defense. And Peterson goes out of the game and is replaced by Chester Taylor.
Maybe an indication that Brad Childress thinks that he may have to throw Seattle out of that 8 and 9 men in the box early in order to create some running lanes for Adrian Peterson.
2nd and 10 from the 49, and here is Taylor with his first carry of the game, and a good one. First down for Chester Taylor, who gets inside the 40 to the 36. Lawrence Jackson on the tackle, and 13 yards on that play.
It's a nice tendency breaker call by Brad Childress. You get Chester Taylor in the game, you're thinking pass. Instead, they go to the run, and look at the big fellas getting out in front. See Bryant McKinney, number 74, leading the charge for Chester Taylor. And
the last time he faced the Seahawks in 06, he gained 169 yards and scored a touchdown. First down at the 36. Favre play action, and down he goes, and coming up to make the play was Corey Redding. That's the second time they've gotten to Favre and a loss of 10 yards.
These big guys here are benefiting from the back 7 because they're covering so well. That's allowing the pressure to get to Brett Favre. Again, who do you find? See, Rice might have been the guy, but Favre, before he could get his feet set and throw it out there, the pressure was in his face.
2nd down and 20. 4 wide receivers, including Percy Harvin and Greg Lewis in there, and the delay handoff to Taylor. And Taylor gets about 3 yards on the play, 3.5, under 5 minutes to go. No score. And that will bring up a 3rd and long for the Vikings.
A 2nd and 20 draw. Sometimes it screams against the nature of Brett Favre and wants to push it down.
Well, he spread it out.
Right, and pick up some yardage. But with the weapons he has and with the defense that he has, he's come to the realization that you don't always have to push it quite so hard.
Chester Taylor remains in the game. This is the 10th play of the drive. And on the stutter count, Corey Redding may have jumped across the line.
Encroachment, defense, number 94. 5-yard penalty, it's 3rd down.
And those are the penalties you absolutely can't have. Watch Brett Favre pull him off sides with the stutter. See, he got him with the cadence, but that's a penalty you can't have if you're Seattle. You're 3rd and 15. That's a down that's in your favor. You put it back to 3rd and 17. You get it back to 3rd and 12, a little more manageable for Brett Favre and the Vikings.
And the penalty story for the Seahawks after the first 8 games. 3rd fewest in the league, 2nd most last week with 9. It's still 3rd and long for the Vikings. They need 11 for the first down. And the ball is at the 38. Favre with a lot of time, and the pass is caught by Rice. And a flag is down, and Sidney Rice is shy of the first down by about 1.5 yards. And Deion Grant and Nick Reed downfield. Nick Reed downfield and Grant right there. And Ed Hockley has to separate the players, and if anyone can, it's Ed Hockley. There you see Sidney Rice and how he has blossomed.
Pass interference, offense, number 18, pushed off on the break. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat 3rd down.
And Deion Grant still complaining over that penalty, which was in the Seahawks' favor.
Sidney Rice all the way to the outside, number 18, working, and see the push there against Marcus Trufant, who is excited that someone has a penalty against him, because so far Marcus Trufant has 4 pass interference calls against him this year, which leads the league. And remember, he missed the first 6 games of the year.
Yeah, and he really was hurt with that penalty in Dallas. So here is Sidney Rice, who last week with a tremendous game, 201 yards against the Lions. So it'll be 3rd down and 21 out of field goal range. Flag is down, and the pass is caught by Peterson. And Peterson brought down at the 33-yard line by David Hawthorne, but a flag down back near the line of scrimmage.
Illegal shift by the offense. There were 2 men moving at the same time before the snap. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
And where that penalty hurts is that you have an opportunity possibly to kick a long field goal with Ryan Longwell after that gain by Adrian Peterson. And instead you get 2 guys moving at the same time. You have to get set. That doesn't happen. Now you go for 3rd and even longer.
So the penalties, the offensive pass interference. And so the Vikings, who are on the 32-yard line of the Seahawks, now are on their own 47, and it's 3rd and 26. So the complexion has changed, and the handoff to Peterson, Adrian Peterson, in a crowd, and it takes 4 or 5 Seahawks to bring him down. They'll still be about 10 yards shy of the first down with under 3 minutes to go. And Kluwe, the punter, comes onto the field, presumably to punt.
Yeah, you can play field position because of the defense you have with the Minnesota Vikings. How about this, Dick? 3rd and long twice in a row for the Vikings. They go screen to Peterson the first time. It gets called back. The second time, 3rd and longer, they go draw because they feel like their defense can handle it.
Kluwe directional kicking, and Burleson is back. And this kick will bounce into the end zone. No score with 2:23 to go in the first quarter as the Seahawks have had to punt on their first 2 possessions. They begin from the 20-yard line. Hasselbeck in the pocket and incomplete to John Carlson, the tight end.
Check this out. You want to be a gunner in this league? This is Asher Allen, the rookie out of Georgia. That's the first punt of the game by the Minnesota Vikings. Had a real tough time with Roy Lewis and Jordan Babineau. But how about the next one? This is a kid who learns in a hurry. Watch him get away this time. You have no chance to get your hands on me this time.
Second down and 10 for Forsett, who is split to the right. Fake pitch by Hasselbeck under pressure, and this one is caught by Nate Burleson, and a flag is down, and Burleson gets to the 39-yard line. So Nate Burleson, who played 3 years with the Vikings and was shut out last week against Arizona.
Defense number 22. That penalty is declined. The play results in a first down.
And cornerback Benny Sapp holding declined after the 18-yard pickup.
Watch Sapp work against T.J. Hushmanzada. That's the penalty right there. And there's the completion to Nate Burleson. Nate was shut out last week. He's an ex-Viking. Now he's back.
First down at the 38-yard line. Justin Forsett not going to go anywhere. No, thank you very much, Kurt. Saints have to come from behind again, and this screen pass to Forsett is read perfectly by Ben Lieber, and another loss on the play. So the Viking defense making its presence felt. A loss on the play of 4.
The front 4 gets a lot of attention for the work they do, but they have a very active linebacking core. Ben Lieber, Chad Greenway, and E.J. Henderson, all 3 can run and chase down receivers and running backs.
6 backs and Brian Robinson up front. 3rd and 16. Forsett out of the backfield. And it's Greenway who makes the tackle at the 38-yard line. 4th down coming up, and what a year Chad Greenway has had thus far.
He's followed up last year where he had well over 100 tackles with another big-time year, playing on a Pro Bowl level if you ask a number of coaches around the league.
So the Vikings defense staunched there, and Darius Raynaud goes back as John Ryan punts for the 3rd time. This one will bounce at the 22. Offensive coordinator Greg Knapp and Matt Hasselbeck. So 3 possessions and 3 punts for the Seahawks. And with 6 seconds remaining in the first quarter, Vikings have the ball on the 16. Hand off to Adrian Peterson, who is dragged down. We begin the second quarter. Dick Stockton and Charles Davis. So far, 5 possessions, 5 punts for both teams. Vikings with a 2nd down and 8 on their 18. Chester Taylor is the running back. Favre giving ground and gets rid of it in a hurry. So we're early here in the second quarter, and a surprise that it is a tie game and that the Seahawks defense has done as well as they have, and don't get the impression that I've grown and Charles has shrunk. He is sitting down and I am standing, otherwise we never see Charles.
Well, what we're seeing early in this game, Dick, is both defenses are forcing the offenses into long yardage situations. Here we go now with Minnesota, another 3rd and 8. 1 possession to go, they ended up with 3rd and 26. That's how the defenses are winning early in this game.
There you see exactly what you're talking about. Minnesota's needed almost 20 yards on 3rd down. There was movement in the line and no flag thrown, and there is Rice downfield, and Rice cannot hold on. Deion Grant and Marcus Trufant were with him, but Rice had a chance to make the catch, and a flag is down. Back at the line of scrimmage.
Offside, defense number 92. The penalty is declined.
Brandon Mebane.
Correction, the penalty is accepted.
And you see how that hurt Seattle. They had already forced a stop. There would have been a punting unit on the field as Sidney Rice goes up and tries to haul this one in. That doesn't happen. This gives Minnesota another opportunity to pick up the first down.
And you kind of knew Brett Favre knew it was a free play. He just decided to go deep. It was accepted. You heard the correction from Ed Hockley. So it's 3rd down and 3, and this pass is caught by Taylor. And the Vikings end up with a first down just beyond the 30 with Hawthorne on the stop and an 8-yard pickup.
Dick, if we go back to that 3rd down throw by Brett Favre, you made a great point. He knew he had a free play, so he throws it downfield. But he also does this with Sidney Rice this year, even when he doesn't have a free play. Why? He trusts Sidney Rice to go up and get the football. As he told us, he makes my decisions right, even when he's covered.
1st and 10 at the 31 of a scoreless game, and Adrian Peterson runs into a pack of the Seahawks. And no gain on the play. Seahawks defense playing outstanding thus far in this first half, both in the pass rush and run defense department.
They've done a tremendous job at making it very difficult for Adrian Peterson to find running lanes. They want to take that away, obviously, because now they want to have a chance to get to Brett Favre. That's happened early in the ballgame because the coverage has been good, too. There's Gus Bradley, the defensive coordinator.
Who's a Minnesotan. Peterson, by the way, 9 carries, 34 yards. It's under 4 yards a clip. This is going to be a fake to him, and the pass is caught by Shanko. And the tight end, who's used more and more in the offense since his early beginnings here in Minnesota, has a first down to the 45, picking up 14.
Even when you're playing zone defense, what Minnesota does is they spread you out so much with their wide receivers that it allows their tight end, Shanko, to essentially run one-on-one routes inside. It's not supposed to be that because it's zone, but because everyone's spread out of there, there's a lot of open space.
Favre is 5 for 6, only 43 yards, but he can get a lot in a hurry, and there's a hard hit, but holding onto it was Peterson. And it was David Hawthorne who is seemingly, Charles, involved in every defensive play for the Seahawks. Pick up a 3.
He has really picked up where Lofa Tutupu had to let go because of his injury. Excellent job by David Hawthorne, who continues to get coaching from Lofa Tutupu. They sit and watch film each and every week. He's helping the youngster get better.
And David Hawthorne, who used to have to prepare for only special teams play, now, of course, in the action in the middle every week.
Talked with his head coach, Gary Patterson, at TCU. I asked him about David Hawthorne. He said he's always been a hitter, and he's always been a winner.
2nd down and 7. Peterson trying to break one and gets off a good run. And Trufant holding on to him prevents a further gain, but it is a first down for the Vikings of 11 yards.
You notice, as well as Seattle has played up front with their defensive line, you notice Minnesota was not daunted in the run game, that they're going to continue to run it. Why? Because eventually they feel like attrition will happen. You keep bounding on it enough times, there'll be a crack. And Adrian Peterson found it for 11 yards.
Good block by Shanko in the process. Now you have both Peterson and Taylor. And Peterson goes out as a receiver to the right on first down. In Seahawk territory, Brett Favre checks down to Taylor. And Taylor is tackled by guess who? Yes, David Hawthorne once again. And a 4-yard gain for the Vikings.
Again, looking deep, able to convert down, check down to his receivers underneath. See how the Vikings have spread the ball around today.
So Favre has thrown just 1 incompletion. Peterson has carried 10 times already, and Shanko has been the big target. It'll be 2nd down and 6 on the Seattle 37.
It's Harvin right there in the slot.
Taylor breaks it up the middle. And Taylor with a first down inside the 25, getting 14 yards. Babino Malloy, but great blocking by the Vikings. Freeze Chester Taylor.
Running to the left side. Watch these guys get their blocks up front. See that? Everyone's matched up. Hutchinson 76, Sullivan the center 65. Everyone ends up with someone That allows the crease, and Chester Taylor finds open space.
Vikings with a first down, and this is in their best rhythm. Taylor goes out to the top of your picture as a receiver on first down. Favre drills it, and it's caught, and going in for the touchdown is Percy Harvin. The rookie does it again.
Brett Favre well protected on this pass play, able to step up and fire at will. And Percy Harvin has become a new favorite of his. The rookie out of Florida finds the open space, makes the catch and barrels into the end zone.
And Ryan Longwell on for the extra point to make it 7-0, but a flag is down. A 23-yard touchdown pass from Brett Favre to Percy Harvin, who leads all NFL rookies now with 6 touchdowns and 2 as a kick returner. And penalty against Seattle.
Illegal formation by the defense on that play. Number 27 was lined up over the center. That's a 5-yard penalty that will be enforced on the kickoff. The try is good.
And an impressive scoring drive of 84 yards, 10 plays. Brett Favre 5 for 6 in that drive. And Percy Harvin with a 23-yard touchdown catch. And there you see the defensive line. Dan Quinn, the defensive line coach. And the kickoff into the end zone, and Obamanu. And welcome back to Mall of America Field here in Minneapolis. The Vikings in front, 7-0. See how the Seahawks react starting from the 20. Justin Forsett in the game, and here is Burleson on the pass, and down he goes. Tremendous defense. E.J. Henderson, the middle linebacker, and there'll be a loss of about a yard.
Here's the touchdown play. This is what they call the Tampa 2. Too deep there, but watch the linebacker in the middle. He's responsible for the middle of the field. Brett Favre reads it, loves the matchup. Percy Harvin one-on-one on the linebacker, gets him to stop his feet, and then once he stops his feet, continues to the open area. Favre finds him, touchdown.
Second down and 11. Hasselbeck quickly gets it off, and Burleson will get the first down on the extra effort, and it was Carl Pema who suffered a sprained ankle, didn't know whether he could go today, and a good effort by Burleson.
Dick, the back shoulder throw is really the bane of the existence for defensive backs, because they're throwing it everywhere on the field. It's not just a play that you throw in the end zone to complement the fade route. Throw it anywhere, and it's very difficult to defend.
First down at the 31 after the 12-yard gain. Hasselbeck quickly gets it out to Forsett, and Henderson will push him out of bounds. And they'll mark it at about the 39-yard line. So the Seattle Seahawks want to keep their defense off the field a little bit. They have run 9 fewer plays offensively than Minnesota. And so even a solid drive, even if they don't get points, will benefit the defense. Second down and 2. Here's Forsett, goes down in a hurry. And that's going to be E.J. Henderson and Chad Greenway combining for no gain.
And if you want to continue this drive, if you're Seattle, you've got to look at this 3rd and 2 as a throwing down. The way Minnesota plays against the run, I wouldn't count on getting those 2 yards here. I'd put the ball in the hands of Matt Hasselbeck.
And Seneca Wallace, well, I hope it doesn't go to Hasselbeck with his ribs. He's split out to the right.
Unless it's a double pass.
3rd down and 2 with Wallace in the Wildcat, and he's going to be chased by Jared Allen, and nowhere to go except out of bounds. Seahawks lose 9 in the process. They have not been able to get out of their own shadow.
Second time in the game they've run what they call the Seneca Wallace package, and they are now 0 for 2. The first time a penalty hampered them. This time unable to pick up a first down on 3rd and 2.
So it is 4th down. So Matt Hasselbeck, who is 7 of 9, the numbers look good there, but they haven't been able to muster much. And John Ryan will be kicking to Darius Raynaud, and it'll bounce at the 35. Not the longest of kicks for John Ryan, who's one of the best in the league. And it's in the second quarter here with the Vikings leading the Seahawks. Matt Hasselbeck looking at the pictures, and Seahawks haven't been able to get past their own 38, Charles.
Those aren't your average Polaroids you take on Thanksgiving Day with the family playing in the backyard, trying to figure out what the Vikings are doing on defense.
From the 30-yard line, Favre fakes the pass, fakes the handoff in traffic, and has time to get rid of it to now Tahi, and the fullback gets about 6 yards on 1st down. And speaking of Thanksgiving, it's a Thanksgiving tradition. Family, food, and the Galloping Gobbler. See who will win this year's award when the Detroit Lions host the Green Bay Packers. It all begins with the Built Ford Tough Fox NFL Sunday pregame show, which will be on Thursday, by the way, at 11:30 Eastern, 8:30 Pacific. Packers and Lions, they've been the traditional foes on Turkey Day. 2nd down and 5. Harvin, and brought down by Hawthorne and Babineau, that is, and Trufant, and a flag is thrown in the defensive secondary. They stopped Harvin from getting the 1st down on the initial play, and Brad Childress is claiming there should be a face mask call here.
And that call came all the way from the back.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 27, 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
So it's Jordan Babineau and the 1st down as the Vikings close to midfield now.
Supposed to be an easy call, and the back judge, Kirk Doman, able to see it. Brad Childress says, I've got the call too if you need any help. And they didn't. They had the call anyway. But it's supposed to be a quick pass, Dick. And they waited actually for Percy Harvin to clear a little bit, and then Brett Favre fired it to him, which led to the face mask.
And that's the 5th penalty against the Seahawks, and the Vikings are in Seattle territory with a 1st down at the 46. Taylor and Peterson are in the lineup, and Peterson goes out as a receiver, and Taylor with the run hemmed in, and down he goes. And Hawthorne, as well as Aaron Curry, came in. I'll tell you, the strongest part of this Seahawk defense, and they've been on the field a lot this year, developing to be their linebacking core.
And they did a really nice job up front. Watch the defensive line control the offensive line of the Vikings. Patrick Kearney, 97, doesn't let Chester Taylor get wide, which forces him to cut back. In other words, he spills the play back to where he has help, and Aaron Curry cleans it up.
And Hawthorne already has 12 tackles. And he had double-digit tackles earlier in the year against the Bears as well. 2nd and 10. And the quick toss out to Bernard Berrien, and unable to get away from Marcus Trufant. And a penalty flag thrown again.
Offside, defense number 92, 5-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
Brandon Mebane. So not happy is Gus Bailey from the small Minnesota town of Zumbrota. 3,100 people, a lot of his friends in attendance today.
Brandon Mebane, a little jumpy there. Brett Favre, very savvy with his counts. Going with the hard count sometimes, trying to draw him off sides, and it's worked pretty well today.
2nd and 5.
Hawthorne, I'm right here.
Fake the handoff, slant pass, Sidney Rice still on his feet. And it takes Dion Grant to trip him up, and another flag is down right at the sideline inside the 20. "24 yards pending the call.
Tripping of the runner, number 24, 10-yard penalty from the end of the run. 1st down.
Seahawk defense, which looked impressive in the beginning, now faltering.
So there's Rice with the catch, and as he goes downfield, tries to make the cut. Right there, Dion Grant, as he was going to try and make the tackle, he slipped and fell. and all he could do was kick his legs to the back right there. And I think that was more inadvertent than it was on purpose, but the end result is still an advantage for Minnesota.
Yeah, he actually was tripped up. Harvin had knocked him away. Inadvertent, but it's still a penalty, so it'll be a first down. The first and goal at the 9.
Is that an example of what good blocking does for you downfield that the coaches will show? See what else it gives you?
So Brett Favre, who has been incredibly dangerous in the red zone. First and goal at the 9.
Okay.
It's an area for Shanko if they want to throw the ball.
And the pass incomplete to Sidney Rice. Babineau breaking it up, and it'll be second and goal.
It's well played by Seattle. Minnesota shows a tight formation, which signifies run, and they decide to throw it. And Babineau comes from inside out, reading Brett Favre's eyes, flows to the football, and delivers the big hit, which knocks the ball away from Rice.
And the Seahawks bring some extra linemen in the game. And Greg Lewis, number 17, is split to the right. Quickly in the slot is Adrian Peterson on second and goal. And this slant pass to Shanko for the touchdown. Well, it took 2 plays for them to find your guy. The tight end Shanko, and the touchdown, giving the Vikings a 13-0 lead.
Love the formation because that Shanko, the tight end, split all the way out. They just cleared space for him to run a one-on-one slant route using Kleinsasser, number 40, as an inside screen guy.
7th touchdown catch of the year for Shanko, and Longwell's kick makes it 14-0 in favor of Minnesota. And the Vikings have clicked for a pair of touchdowns on their last 2 drives, going first 84 and now 70 yards for the touchdown. Brett Favre now with 19 TD passes. And Shanko now has tied Vernon Davis for the NFL lead for tight ends with 7 touchdown scores as Obamanu brings it out for Seattle and stays on his feet. Ben Obamanu with a terrific return and a fumble. You can hear the crowd and see the crowd to know that the Vikings recover the fumble by Obamanu on the kickoff. Heath Farwell made the recovery.
Trying so hard just to gain additional yardage with Ben Obamanu. Sometimes when you try so hard, it ends up hurting the team and they pop the ball free. If you're Brett Favre now, you might decide to take a shot at the end zone right off the bat.
From the 34 of the Seahawks after the turnover, here is Chester Taylor. And Taylor picks up a couple of yards. And a whistle.
Timeout Seattle, that's their first.
Seahawks with a timeout, 4:11 to go in the second. Seahawks calling the timeout with 4:11 to go as Matt Hasselbeck trying to figure out what to do with the offense for Seattle. Meanwhile, the Vikings have known what to do with that pass distribution. Hand off to Peterson. Adrian Peterson powering his way to the 26, where Corey Redding brings him down. A gain of 7 for Peterson, who has gained 52 yards and averaging nearly 5 yards a clip. And in the rushing department, the Vikings have outrushed the Seahawks 80 to -6. 3rd down and 2. Good protection, Favre's pass, and a great catch by Harvin. Percy Harvin with a terrific catch to the 15. And another first down for Minnesota with an 11-yard gain.
One of the staples of the West Coast offense is having receivers at different planes on the same sight line. Watch Percy Harvin running his route. Excellent catch in traffic against Jennings, but he could have gone, look, the same sight line, just a little bit deeper to Visanthe Shiancoe. Right there, 81 deep. Great job by Harvin catching it in traffic. Favre had two options.
And a first down on the 15. Here's Adrian Peterson going off the left side and cut down by Jordan Babineau, and very nearly getting a first down. Sidney Rice, the wide receiver, with a terrific block. And it will be a first down, first and goal coming up for the Vikes.
Have you noticed the benefits of how Brad Childress was calling the game early, where he was throwing on the early downs to try and create some run space for Adrian Peterson? It has worked, because now Adrian Peterson is finding spaces and a nice block out on the corner, getting some help from the wide receivers.
Well, he has the running back in Peterson and Taylor, and he said that Percy Harvin runs like a running back after he catches the ball. And clock running down to the 2-minute warning.
Never easy in the pocket. Patrick Kearney puts a little shot on the left arm of Brett Favre. He follows the play to conclusion. Maybe a little funny bone there, but see, he's telling Sage Rosenfeld's about it. See how tough I am? That's why you start 301 straight games, Sage.
Easy. First and goal from the 5. Chester Taylor with the handoff. And getting him from behind was Leroy Hill, the first man to reach him. Gets to about the 4, so it'll be second down and goal. And the Vikings, if you want to look at first and goal from the 5, they have scored 12 touchdowns in 14 drives to lead the league. And we've already seen Brett Favre connect in the red zone.
And the hammer's back on the field, Adrian Peterson,
who has gained 62 yards and averaged over 5 yards a clip.
Shiancoe again in the slot.
He's caught one already for a score. Touchdown. Berrien with the catch. Bernard Berrien, who has been bothered by a hamstring pull, and says, don't forget about me when you talk about the likes of Rice and Shiancoe and Harvin. The veteran makes the grab. A 3-yard touchdown pass.
And you're so right about Bernard Berrien. You know, you almost forget about him with all the other weapons that are out there.
And Brett Favre's 20th touchdown pass, and this is the 15th year he's had 20 or more. And Ryan Longwell, the machine, who has not missed this year, 35 of 35 for conversions. And the Vikings have opened up a 21-0 lead, scoring all of their touchdowns in the second quarter.
Take a look at how Visanthe Shiancoe right here draws a lot of attention in running his route. They've heard about how well he does in the red zone. He gets 3 guys to try and cover him. And Bernard Berrien on the backside. Favre looks, comes backside. And Bernard Berrien, who last year averaged 20 yards a catch, Dick, was a deep threat, has turned into a slant inside type pass receiver. And look at the result of this. What's his favorite route now with Brett Favre? The inside slant, touchdown.
And you know, the Vikings have not demolished teams at home this year en route to their 4-0 record. They beat the 49ers by 3. They beat Baltimore by 2. And the Vikings also had a tough game, beating the Packers by 7. Those aren't wide margins until last week when they beat the Lions by 17, but they're up 21 here. And the kickoff with 1:12 to go, and Lewis Rankin returning from the end zone for the Seahawks. 3 touchdowns in just under 9 minutes. And now the Seahawks from the 24. And pass caught by T.J. Houshmandzadeh for a short gain. And a timeout called by Minnesota.
And down 3 touchdowns and running a 2-minute drill. Here comes the pass rush from the Minnesota Vikings. And there's Jared Allen.
So the timeout, the first for the Vikings. We want to remind you, coming up at the half, the Visa halftime report with Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy. We'll have scores and highlights, and the Fox Sports ticker as well. Vikings leading 21-0 with 1 minute to go in the half.
And they're looking for an opportunity to get another score before the half is over. They just used their timeout. So what they're trying to do is force Seattle to give up the ball and one more shot for Brett Favre.
Second down and 9. Hasselbeck has to check down to Forsett. Almost gets by Greenway, and out of bounds he goes. And a gain of 6, stopping the clock with 52 seconds.
And Minnesota's happy. Why? They didn't have to use a timeout there. They turned it into 3rd and 5. Seattle goes out of bounds, and in a sense, Minnesota may gain a timeout if they do get the ball back, because they'll have one for their offense now.
3rd and 4.
Where's he going?
Ball start. Offense number 60. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Doesn't get any easier for the Seahawks, and Jim Mora's team facing pressure on both sides of the ball from the Vikings today. That was on the rookie Max Unger, the right guard.
And this is exactly what Jim Mora was afraid of. The rookie jumping, creating more distance for the offense.
So it's 3rd and 9. Pulling back from the blitz, and another flag is down.
False start. Offense number 75. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
So 2 straight false start penalties. This one on Sean Locklear.
75, he jumps early, and remember, Seattle prides itself at home on having the 12th man that forces other teams to jump. On the road, a different story for the Seahawks.
Taste of their own medicine here. 3rd and 14. Pressure on Hasselbeck, and on the screen to Justin Forsett. Forsett with some nifty running and very close to the first down, maybe a little shy. With 41 seconds remaining, Carl Pema making the play, and the Vikings call their second timeout. And Forsett challenging the sticks on the sideline. It'll be 4th down.
Look at where he goes down, tries one more leap, and ends up going over the line, but they're determining that he was down ahead of the line.
That is an unofficial line, by the way, but it gives you a good gauge as to whether it is a first down, and they will be short by less than a yard.
If I were Seattle, of course, it's a booth review now. They're hoping that the spot will be challenged because we're inside of the 2 minutes. Because did he actually go? There's the elbow that went down before he rolled over, so that should be approximately right in there.
And not taking any chances. Offense stayed on the field, and now the special teams come on, and John Ryan will kick. Raynaud goes back. Vikings still have 1 timeout left to try to get in position for a score before intermission. Great kick by Ryan, and it will go into the end zone. Touchback. With 32 seconds, the Vikings will take it out at the 20. Brett Favre, talk about accuracy, 14 of 16, has thrown 3 touchdown passes. Peterson with 62 yards. Shanko with 4 catches, including a touchdown. First down from the 20. Here's Adrian Peterson. Nowhere to go, and gets stopped for 1 yard, and that'll do it, as the Vikings will be satisfied with taking a 3-touchdown lead, as Brett Favre threw 3 touchdown passes into intermission. And welcome back to Minneapolis, where the Vikings lead the Seahawks getting ready for the start of the third quarter. It's 21-0. Tremendous edge in total yards, first downs, time of possession. Seahawks with 9 penalties, minus rushing yards. Brett Favre, 14 of 16, 3 TD scores, all in the second quarter, one after a turnover by Seattle, and 7 players with a catch. And that's a great painting for the Minnesota Vikings as they look to go 9-1. This is the pregame situation with the Seahawks.
And one of the things the Seahawks have prided themselves on is their discipline, being sharp in what they do. They jump off sides. That's the first play of team period in pregame. The second play of team period, again, they jump. And then when the game started, they jumped early when we started the game, and then late, the last drive, 2 more jumping penalties. So a lot of things they take pride in have not worked out very well for Seattle today. But Minnesota, when you flip it over after a slow start, they've been dominant from the second quarter on.
How come you can sit and I have to stand up? That's my
It's something
question.
about the dimensions here. That's all. Something about the dimensions.
Now Seattle, they haven't gotten past their own 39-yard line. They've tried everything. They tried the Wildcat a couple of times, a couple of bizarre situations. But Minnesota's defense, you said at the top, no discernible weaknesses for this Vikings. You can underscore that because they demonstrated that in this half.
Their front four is so dominant that Leslie Frazier, defense coordinator, relies on them to control everything up front and uses back 7 to take care of the receivers and the running backs coming out of the backfield, because all of them, not only are they strong, they can run. Jared Allen runs people down. Ray Edwards has done the same thing, and then the Williams brothers inside. You just can't make anything work that way. And then on the flip side, Brett Favre. Everyone talked about being a game manager when he came to Minnesota. Well, Brett Favre's never been just strictly a game manager, but you hand him Adrian Peterson, you hand him the receivers he has, he will do that, but he also has the ability to take over a ball game when it so fits.
You know, the Vikings right now remind me of the old Boston Celtics. We used to do the NBA, and they would be winning big, and people love to see them. But Brett Favre coming in with the leading passer rating in the NFL. Adrian Peterson, over 900 rushing yards, second in the NFL in rushing scores. Sidney Rice leading the NFC in receiving yards. Percy Harvin with 2 touchdowns, leading the NFL in kickoff returns as a rookie. And this is what they've done today. Look at Brett Favre's rating if you go by that. Adrian Peterson already 63. Sidney Rice, 1 catch, but good for 24 yards. And Harvin with 3 touchdowns, 3 receptions, that is, and 1 touchdown, and we haven't even seen him have a chance to return something. And on top of all of that, the Vikings will get the ball to start the second half. And Sidney Rice, who was drafted in the second round of the 07 draft. How about Adrian Peterson, first round, Sidney Rice, the second round, and he was the 7th wide receiver pick. And there are the others before him.
And you take a look at the guys who went before him. Calvin Johnson is doing a great job. Ted Ginn Jr., nice on kickoff returns. Robert Meacham not starting for New Orleans, but starting to get there and come into his own. Anthony Gonzalez hurt, and Sidney Rice, he has truly matured now and become a dominant receiver.
So we're set for the second half, and it's interesting with the Vikings, after having their scoring streak stopped after scoring in 11 straight quarters, had the highest scoring quarter of the season in 21 points. So Harvin getting set to return the kickoff. Olindo Mare. And this is the first time Mare has kicked the ball in the game. And it's about 4 yards in the end zone, run out by Harvin. And Harvin will be down by Obamanu, outstanding special teams player. So Harvin, who had kick returns of 101 and 88 yards earlier this year, gets 18 this time, but the Vikings will start from their 15.
And that was a little unusual for Percy Harvin. He usually is a one-cut guy and hits the hole and goes. Thought he was going to get to the corner and tried to reverse field.
Brett Favre's numbers so far, 20 touchdown passes on the year, as against 3 interceptions. Phenomenal ratio. Favre with a screen to Peterson. And down he goes, but he'll get the first down. Hawthorne makes the play, and it was John Sullivan, the center in his second year, who led the way, and a pickup of 11 for Peterson.
So much for going totally vanilla with a 21-point lead and just handing it to Adrian Peterson on the first play. They got it to him, but they showed it through a screen, and he picks up the first down of the second half.
Most points scored by the Vikings this year, 38 against the Rams and at Green Bay. From the 26, and getting down and making the catch is Rice, his second reception of the game, and he picks up 7 on that play with a minute gone by in the third.
And this is a team that is very aggressive on the first possession of the second half. Brad Childress likes to come out of the locker room and kind of get the motor started again with his team. Never wants them to relax. Look at what they've done on the first possession of the second half this year.
Second down and 3. Brad Childress very quietly engineered the far return. Fans like what he's done. Here's Peterson with McKinney blocking, and it breaks down. Good defense that time in pursuit laterally by the Seahawks, and Patrick Kearney made the play after a gain of 1.
Dick, a lot has been mentioned about when Brett Favre came back to the Minnesota Vikings. When he came to the Minnesota Vikings, how Brad Childress made the call. But a big reason why he's back is that man there, Darrell Bevell, the offensive coordinator. Brett worked with him in Green Bay, and when we sat with him the other day and talked, we asked what was a big selling point. He said, Darrell Bevell. He said, my relationship with him and how we work together, that helped bring me back to Minnesota.
Boy, he knows this offense front and back. Third down and 2, and here's Peterson, and Peterson will be taken down by David Hawthorne. So Hawthorne with 13 tackles in this game, and 4th down coming up, so a good first defensive possession sequence for Seattle.
There's David Hawthorne, the middle linebacker. They call him the heater. Why? Heat-seeking missile. He'll heat you up with the tackles. When he was in college, his teammates at TCU called him DH, not for David Hawthorne, but for designated hitter.
And there's Kluwe to punt Nate Burleson, letting it bounce at the 36 and go out of bounds. And the Seahawks' first possession of the second half. Rankin in motion to the right from the 37-yard line. And Hasselbeck's pass is dropped, I think, by Houshmandzadeh. He was covered by Greenway, but it looked like a pass he should grab.
Chad Greenway's used to covering tight ends, accepts the challenge, is looking forward to taking on John Carlson today, matching his athletic ability against the young man's from Notre Dame. Instead, he ends up in the slot against one of the better receivers in the league, TJ Houshmandzadeh, and does a very nice job covering him.
Second down and 10. Hand off to Forsett, gets some running room, and Justin Forsett gets 9 yards, actually 9.5, before Medea Williams brings him down. So this is the deepest penetration, and you thought the Seahawks, who started from the 37, would get past the 39. That was their best of the day. And it'll be 3rd and 1, where Seattle has yet to convert on 3rd downs. 2 fullbacks, Griffith and Owen Schmidt, in the lineup. It's Griffith, and short, might have lost a half a yard. And it will be 4th down coming up.
Dick, I think essentially when you play Minnesota, anything a third and less than a ball, third and more than a ball's length, you should not run the ball inside. I mean, it just doesn't work against the Vikings. You got Kevin Williams and Pat Williams in there, and see the penetration? They just blew up the blockers inside, allowed nowhere to run with the football, and now forced another punt from Seattle. Anything more than a ball's length, they should punt, they should throw the football against the Vikings.
Darius Raynaud is back, and John Ryan will kick it. The fair catch by Raynaud at the 11-yard line. And will start their second possession of the 3rd quarter from the 11-yard line. Brett Favre, 16 of 18 for 146 yards and 3 touchdowns. Here's Adrian Peterson. And a couple of yards. Peterson now with 63. Colin Cole closes it up. Minnesota Vikings, 8-1 record, second to only the New Orleans Saints, perfect at 9-0. David Hawthorne having a sensational game defensively for the team that trails by 3. Favre's pass incomplete to Shanko. So 3rd down and 9.
That was well covered by Deion Grant on Visante Shanko. And Brett Favre shows he still has the fastball. Trying to zip one in there, throw just a little bit to the inside and behind, that's all.
It's a four-seamer.
On the black at the knees,
yes.
Right?
Well, if Seattle has not had the ball in Minnesota territory, they could get good field position if they can stop the Vikings on 3rd and 9 here. Here's Favre. He has some time, and the pass is caught, and a first down to Percy Harvin. And Harvin was waiting for the ball. He was clearly wide open. So they get out of trouble, and a 24-yard gain out to the 37.
It all starts with the protection. Watch what Brett Favre has in terms of time and space to throw the football. Never any real pressure. And Percy Harvin, coming out of a spread option attack at Florida, has a terrific sense of spacing in running his routes, finding dead areas, presenting his numbers to the quarterback, and completing a play.
And there's a Viking shaken up, and it's Percy Harvin being tended to. Harvin, who was the 22nd overall pick from the University of Florida. First in rookie ranks in touchdowns, second in catches, second in yardage, and walking off on his own power.
And you know what the Seattle coaches think of him? The first word they said when I asked coaches about Percy Harvin, how tough he was. They talked about a play they saw on tape where he got tattooed, helmet came off, big collision, about 3 other people. They said the first guy up off the ground was Percy Harvin. That's one tough young man.
And Brett Favre has to respect that, being a tough man himself. First down at the 37 of the Vikings. And here's Peterson. Great move by Peterson. And Marcus Trufant trying to stab at the ball to no avail. And Adrian Peterson gets to midfield, a 13-yard gain. And the Vikings, who started from the 11, have a first down again.
Did you see that shot of Colin Cole telling his guys, rip the ball out? Why? Adrian Peterson has a reputation that if you rake it at the ball enough, you can get it out. But watch him at the end of the run. Finds a way to tuck it away as they are trying to pull the ball out from the backside. Good job by Adrian Peterson working on ball security.
From midfield, Brett Favre's pass, and making the catch is Shanko, and down immediately after a pickup of 5 yards. Brad Childress, as we mentioned at the outset, received a contract extension to 2013, and why not? He has improved the team every year. 6-10 start, 8-8 the next year, won the division title at 10-6 last season, and 8-1 enrolling here. Here's Peterson with a stutter move, and shy of the first down by a yard thanks to Colin Cole. He got 4 on that play as we wind down to 8 minutes remaining in the 3rd.
And how about the Minnesota Vikings going no huddle now? Brad Childress upping the tempo. And Dick, I'm not going to break into song here, but Brad Childress really did it his way here at Minnesota.
And you know what? You say, well, what's the point in doing this now? The team is doing well. I think it's a message sent to the entire team that no matter what you've heard, how well will we do, he's going to be in charge. So what he says will count. There you see how he's responded. Former assistant to Andy Reid. Peterson again with the carry, dives forward, and he appears to have a first down.
I like how he's changed the tempo just a little bit. You know, it's a no huddle, but it's not one of those super hurry up no huddles. It's something else to show the rest of the opponents that they're going to play that they will have to prepare for. Something else on tape.
Peterson goes out. He has 81 yards rushing, and Taylor will replace him, but the cheers are for Percy Harvin, who's come back on the field for Minnesota. There is Harvin, who is lined up in the slot to the right. Great look at Adrian Peterson, a delightful young man, and now with a great quarterback to work with. First down from the 40. Pass caught by Berrien, and Berrien stopped shy of the first down by 1.5 yards.
One of the mantras of running this West Coast offense, Brad Childress and Darrell Bevel style, you know what they tell the receivers all the time? None of you are decoys on any play with Brett Favre at quarterback, because he could come to you at any time. So if you run a half-speed bad route on the backside, you're going to be exposed, and that will hurt our offense. And
we saw that last week with Sidney Rice. A lot of times you wouldn't have made some of those throws, but Rice fought and got the ball. Ninth play of the drive. Second and 2. Favre pass. Shanko, first down inside the 20. And Charles, you have to wonder, how can you possibly circumvent all of these weapons that Brett Favre has?
The answer is you truly can't. All right, you're trying to limit them, but you're not going to stop them by any stretch. And what he did was he split 2 receivers all the way wide, pulled the coverage away, and let Visanthe Shanko work underneath again, almost one-on-one.
13-yard gain and a first down to the Seahawk 19. Harvin in motion, and on the fake pass, and Peterson on the carry, and Deion Grant holding on for dear life. Finally, Peterson stopped at the 16, getting 3 tough yards.
Look at the leg drive of Adrian Peterson. About as impressive a short yardage run as you're going to see. Look at Babineau trying to get out of there.
Peterson has 84 yards. And for the 3rd straight year, over 1,000. Second and 7. Favre up the middle. Pass caught by Visanthe Shanko. And another first down with Kelly Jennings on his back. It'll be 1st and goal, Minnesota.
Just talking about the drive of Adrian Peterson, how about the work ethic of Visanthe Shanko? This is a guy who, after every practice, stays behind to catch extra passes, working with the receivers coach George Stewart from all different angles, all different types of drills.
7 catches for 68 yards and a touchdown. Split out to the right, now in motion. On 1st and goal, Favre nearly taken down. Fires into the end zone. Touchdown! Sidney Rice. And limping a bit is Rice as he comes out for the end zone.
Brett Favre extends the life of the play, takes the hit from Aaron Curry at the end of the play, but see where he puts the football? Up high to give Sidney Rice an opportunity to come down with it. That's why Jim Mora called Sidney Rice go-go gadget this week. Just extends the arms up and hauls it in.
Ryan Longwell makes it 28-0 in favor of Minnesota. Steve Hutchinson, who played his first 5 years with Seattle, 9th straight year in blocking for a 1,000-yard rusher. Adrian Peterson this year, best guard maybe of his time. And there's the kickoff, bouncing off of a Seahawk and recovered by Seattle. 28-0, the Vikings lead the Seattle Seahawks. 12-play, 89-yard drive. 4 different receivers that scored a touchdown today for the Vikings. All thrown, of course, by number 4. First down, Matt Hasselbeck's first pass caught by Burleson. He'll get the first down before he's wrestled out by Carl Payla. First down at the 42. Hasselbeck up the middle, and wide open is T.J. Houshmandzadeh, who is down after getting about 6 yards on the play. Houshmandzadeh, who of course was wooed by the Minnesota Vikings, ended up signing with the Seattle Seahawks. People talking to him a lot this week. Well, if you had Brett Favre, well, you know, Favre wasn't on the Vikings when Houshmandzadeh was wooed by them. But he says, you know what? It's my first year with Seattle. I'm happy to be where I am.
Yeah, you can't make a judgment about how it's worked out until a few years down the road. Too early now.
Second down and 4. Play fake. And going up top for the first time. And a flag goes down. And Nate Burleson with Pema on him. And it would be 36 yards. Was it defensive pass interference, which would be declined, or a push-off? And it appears to be against the Vikings.
Pass interference, defense number 41. The penalty is declined. The play results in a first down.
And that's the longest play from scrimmage by the Seahawks today.
Carl Pema, number 41, all the way to the outside, working with Nate Burleson. Had his hands on him throughout the entire route. That's the call, and what a great one-handed catch by Nate Burleson downfield.
He has 5 in the game after getting nothing last week. Justin Forsett knocked back by Tyrell Johnson, the strong safety, and no gain on the play. This is the first time, by the way, that the Seahawks have gotten into Viking territory.
And then they try and run it inside, and there's Pat Williams, one of the preeminent run stoppers in the league. 3 straight Pro Bowls, stacking things up inside.
How about the first downs? 22 for Minnesota, 4 for Seattle. Second and 10. Hasselbeck, no chance against E.J. Henderson. And the first sack of the game by the Vikings. And a 9-yard loss.
The Vikings do not usually blitz, but when they do decide to come with pressure, it's usually effective because of so much attention having to be paid to their front four. E.J. Henderson, totally clean. There's Leslie Frazier, the defensive coordinator of the Vikings.
And that is the 35th sack leading the NFL. And Leslie Frazier has gotten some nibbles for head coach. Should get more. Third and 19. Hasselbeck flips it to Forsett. And no chance to get away. And the play made by Asher Allen, the rookie from Georgia, after Jared Allen applied the pressure on Hasselbeck.
And remember, Matt Hasselbeck was in Green Bay under Brett Favre for a time. This play here by Matt Hasselbeck, isn't that vintage Brett Favre? Making something out of nothing with the flip.
We've seen that outdoors at Lambeau so many times.
He paid attention.
But now Orlando Mare will try to give the Seahawks their first points of the game. A 40-yard field goal attempt. And Mare's kick is good. 43 seconds remain in the third quarter. 28-3. Brett Favre has thrown 4 touchdown passes. An incredible 22 of 25 passing day, and has the baseball cap on as the Vikings get set to get the ball. And you wonder whether Tavares Jackson may be coming in. He does have the helmet on. So Tavares Jackson, who before Brett Favre signed with the Vikings, it was a battle between Sage Rosenfels and Tavares Jackson, who would be the starting quarterback for Minnesota this year. So they start from the 20, and Tavares Jackson will take over in his 4-year career. Those are his numbers.
And in our pregame show, Pam Oliver interviewed receivers for the Vikings, Berrien and Rice and Harvin and Schenko. And if she asked the question, would you guys still be in this position if Brett Favre had not signed? And they all went, if I said probably not. But they do have a great amount of confidence in Tavares Jackson.
And Jackson said he has learned a lot, no kidding, from Brett Favre and seeing how he works. Starting from the 20-yard line. Harvin, who limped before, is all right, and there's the screen, and there's Peterson with a one-handed catch, and taken down by Colin Cole. Half a minute remaining in the third quarter. No gain on that first down.
Watch this play by Colin Cole. He's supposed to be a run stopper. He sees the screen and chases it down. See how he runs behind Adrian Peterson? Peterson makes the catch, but Colin Cole won't let him get away. Well played.
So Jackson now 5 for 8 in relief roles so far this year, and that will do it for the third quarter. 2nd and 10 as we start the fourth quarter. Dick Stockton, Charles Davis, Minnesota with 21 points in the second, their biggest scoring quarter of the year, leading 28-3. 2nd and 10, Tavares Jackson in relief from Brett Favre, completes to Bernard Berrien. Flag goes down as Berrien is halted by Jennings after an 8-yard pickup. Crew headed by Ed Hockley this afternoon.
Holding before the pass was thrown, defense number 21. It's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot and an automatic first down.
So Kelly Jennings, who started in place of Josh Wilson, who suffered a concussion last week. And a first down at the 25 now.
Started earlier this year for Ken Lucas when he was hurt for a little while too. So he's had plenty of experience being on the field for Seattle.
First down. Here's Adrian Peterson, and Peterson will be wrestled down by Patrick Kearney in the NFC North. And Tavares Jackson tips it, and it is caught. The catch is made at the 31-yard line by Sidney Rice. Patrick Kearney had deflected the ball first, but Rice, with great hustle, made the grab and a 9-yard pickup.
And this has to be a microcosm of both teams' seasons right here. Look at this, Dick. Good play by Kearney, dropping off in the zone blitz. He pops the ball in the air, and Sidney Rice comes up and grabs it. Minnesota seizing opportunities, Seattle unable to capitalize.
Peterson and Taylor in the lineup for the Vikings on 3rd and 3. And Tavares Jackson gets away from trouble and flips it, and another catch is made. No, incomplete to Rice. And Rice, with a few things to say, thought he had made the play.
He wants him to challenge it.
What a surprise, right?
Receivers want every catch they can get their hands on.
Shocked.
Look at Tavares Jackson, extends the play, keeps his eyes downfield, makes the flip to try and get the completion. And there's Sidney Rice underneath. I think he might have a beef there. I think he's got a legitimate gripe. That's why he's trying to get Brad Childress to go ahead and challenge it. And there it is.
And he is. And you can say, well, you're up 28-3 and you're in control of this game, but you got to back your player.
Great point. Trust your players. They respond to you. They respond for you when you give them that opportunity.
So Sidney Rice says, challenge it.
Minnesota's challenging the ruling on the field that the pass was incomplete.
Dick, a minute ago you said that Brad Childress had to, back his players when they said make the challenge. This will help him do it again, because look at where Sidney Rice does. Both arms underneath, cradles the ball to his body before he goes to the ground. I think this will be determined a catch, and Minnesota will keep the football. Nice little soft toss there. And Sidney Rice gets both arms underneath it and possesses the football.
Here he is, Ed Hockley.
The receiver did have his hands under the ball. The ball did not touch the ground. Therefore, the pass was complete. 1st and 10 on the 40-yard line. No timeouts are charged.
So the Vikings are winning everything today, including the challenges. And 28-3, it will be a first down for Minnesota. So Sidney Rice with 5 catches for 55 yards and a touchdown.
And you notice as we see Brett Favre on the sidelines, Tavares Jackson now in the game, getting plenty of work. And you notice Brad Childress has not limited the offense. He put Tavares Jackson in the game for a reason, to give him experience, playing time, hopefully a little bit of confidence, just in case he needs him down the road.
First down at the 40. Jim Kleinsaucer is out as a receiver, and Tavares Jackson checks down, and Visante Shanko, the tight end, may have the first down at midfield. It'll be close, defended by Leroy Hill downfield, and it is a first down for the Vikings.
Love the misdirection going against flow. Visante Shanko straight down the line of scrimmage from his tight end position, going in the opposite direction. Tavares Jackson lets him clear to the flat, puts the ball on him. Big play.
Shanko has 8 catches for 78 yards. He's been the big receiver today as Peterson tests the middle of the line and picks up a yard. Colin Cole is there. What a tremendous team. And again, I go back to your observation at the top, Charles Davis. We said no discernible weaknesses, and we haven't seen one yet for the Minnesota Vikings on either side of the ball, including special teams. This is a team that can pass. They have great targets. You don't know what Brett Favre really thinks down deep, because he doesn't want to alienate the Green Bay fans even more. He's got to like this team big time. Second down and 9. Jackson being chased and nearly intercepted. Peterson was the intended receiver, and it was David Hawthorne who put the pressure on. Talk about the milestones for this game. Brett Favre, 22nd game in which he has thrown 4 or more touchdown passes. For Peterson, 3 straight years of 1,000 or more yards. And for Hutchinson, the left guard, 9th straight year. He's been to the Pro Bowl 6 times. He has blocked for a 1,000-yard rusher. 3rd and 9. Put the pressure on Jackson. Pass is caught by Harvin. And Harvin sidestepped Babineau to make the catch, and a first down, gaining 16 yards to the 33.
What was that you said earlier? That Brett Favre says that Percy Harvin runs like a running back after he catches the football? You saw evidence of it there. Why? Because he doesn't take the play and dance towards the sideline and get out of bounds. He takes it right back into the teeth of the defense and picks up additional yardage.
10th play of the drive, 350 total yards by the Vikings. And we're early in the 4th, and here is Peterson. And Peterson knocked back, and Mebane follows the lead of Leroy Hill. And there'll be a drop of 2 yards on the play. Frustrating once again for these Seattle Seahawks, who are headed for their 5th straight road loss. The defense has been on the field incredibly long so far in this game. And they're falling victims to a steamrolling club here. 2nd down and 11. Jackson completes it. And there is Rice going in for the touchdown. Sidney Rice, his 2nd of the game. And a souvenir for a young Viking fan. And for Tavares Jackson, his first touchdown pass of this year. You mentioned the confidence factor, Charles.
There's Rice all the way out to the top of the screen where it gets Marcus Trufant. And Trufant had way too much cushion after Rice caught the ball to try and come up. Rice puts one move on him, takes it into the end zone.
Ryan Longwell adds the 35th point. It all starts at 6 Central tonight on Fox. Lewis Rankin on the return gets it past the 20-yard line. And no one has left their seats here at the Mall of America Field. Brett Favre with 4 touchdown passes. Tavares Jackson with the latest. Sidney Rice has caught 2. And Matt Hasselbeck on first down finds Nate Burleson. And Burleson out to the 46-yard line. And a first down coming back to play for the Seahawks after 3 years in a Viking uniform. That was a 24-yard catch.
And that's a big league throw by Matt Hasselbeck, fitting it in between the corner and the safety in a cover 2 look.
Hasselbeck 15 of 18 for 147. Forsett knocked back for a loss. And Quinn and Stafford, big days. Hasselbeck flips it over on the screen to Forsett. Gets away from a defender. Has a first down inside the 30. Justin Forsett. And the ball is knocked away by Sapp, but out of bounds. So it's retained by the Seahawks after a huge gain of 47 yards. And a big block by T.J. Houshmandzadeh to set him free.
And Greg Knapp knows that the front four is coming after his quarterback. Matt Hasselbeck protects him with his play calling a little bit and uses their aggressiveness against them with the screen. Forsett with a big play. Look downfield. There's Houshmandzadeh. Nice job there blocking on Sapp. And then Sapp comes back and punches it out, but it's out of bounds.
And Forsett with a big game last week, 123 yards. And on the draw, Forsett is hit as flags fly. He is dropped at the 12-yard line.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 73. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
That's on Jimmy Kennedy.
Take a look inside. 73, Kennedy. There's the reach right there. And that's the face mask penalty against him. Reaching out, trying to make a tackle, gets a mask instead.
So it'll be 1st and 10 at the 11-yard line. They're going to move it inside now. It'll be 1st and goal. Believe me, I think those Vikings defenders want to keep Seattle out of the end zone without giving up a touchdown. -1 in the rushing department. The Vikings over 100. Hasselbeck will try to run it in. Touchdown for the Seahawks. Let's see where they place it, and they say down at the 1. So pardon me. And Greenway prevented Hasselbeck from getting in. The knee was down before the ball got over.
See him running it into the teeth of the defense. He dives for it, but right there he's down, elbow before the ball crosses the line of scrimmage. Hip and elbow both down.
Little premature by this reporter. Remember, he's running despite the fact that he's had the broken ribs. 2nd and goal for Forsett. And an incomplete pass. Tough one to make. Carlson, the intended receiver. So it'll be 3rd and goal from the 1. Jared Allen, who came into the game 2nd in the NFL in sacks behind Elvis Dummerville of the Broncos.
And neither Williams in the game at defensive tackle for the Vikings, Pat or Kevin.
And Forsett will get the touchdown for Seattle. Their first touchdown of the game, and it comes with 8:05 remaining in the 4th quarter. And Edwards and Rob Sims have to be separated. And that is the first red zone touchdown allowed by the Vikings. So you can be sure when they got close, they wanted to keep them out.
The previous 2 touchdowns they gave up rushing for the year came against Baltimore and Ray Rice, and both of them were sprints from outside of the red zone.
And the Seahawks will go for 2, so it took to the 10th game before they gave up a red zone rushing touchdown. 2-point conversion coming up. Hasselbeck and Carlson cannot hold on, and the conversion fails. 35-9 lead for the Vikings. Here's the 2-point conversion that didn't work.
Look at John Carlson. He thought that he had possession of the football in the end zone, but look at what's happening. Asher Allen is battling him for the ball, so John Carlson's never able to tuck it into his body and establish clear possession, thus the incompletion called by the officials and the correct call.
And now the Seahawks will be attempting an onside kick. And they're going to challenge. By the way, Carlson, who was supposed to be the big target, one of the big targets today, has not caught a pass. So it was Nate Burleson last week against Arizona. Carlson this time. They're challenging this.
See, what they're challenging, they're saying that John Carlson caught the ball.
Seattle is challenging the ruling on the field. It was incomplete pass on the try.
See, Seattle's saying that he caught it and established possession of the football.
John Carlson, one of the better tight ends in the league. No catches, thrown it only 3 times. Coming back home from Litchfield, Minnesota,
The
60
ruling
miles
on the field
west.
stands as called. The pass was incomplete.
So Carlson still without a catch, and then that was on a conversion, of course. So the score remains 35-9.
And I think it was the correct call because he never was able to establish clear possession of the football. He was battling it the whole time with Asher Allen, never got into his body.
Seattle has charged the timeout. Timeout, Seattle, for the replay.
And that's why it was called a no catch on the field, and then the replay confirmed that.
Harmon is back, but the Vikings expecting the onside kick. Rice and a lot of the receivers has to go 10 yards, and they kick it deep. And it bounces in the end zone, and he's got to take it out. It bounced away, and Harmon running out of the pack. And a helmet. One of the Seahawks flies away. Lewis Rankin made the tackle, bounced in the end zone, didn't stay there, so it came out. So Harmon had to run with it.
Looked like a pretty good wedge shot there, didn't it? See how it checked up and then came back to the cup. And Percy Harvin had to make the play there because the ball's in the field of play and it's a live ball. Seattle could have recovered it right there.
Left with an easy 4-footer.
A double breaker.
There's Jim Mora, who has had to go through a really rugged year, the Seahawk team, because they were a dominant team in their division. And Tavares Jackson on first down, handing off to Adrian Peterson. And Peterson loses yards now. When he carried the last time and lost, and we told you he had 1,000 yards for the 3rd straight year, he went to 999, and he's still at that figure. No gain on the play. So Adrian Peterson officially has not gotten his 1,000 yards. Oh, I have a hunch before the end of this year he'll have it.
You think maybe by the end of the season?
Yeah. 2nd down and 10 on the 20-yard line. Chester Taylor in the lineup. Jackson handing off to Taylor. Taylor was slowed up by Cole, and then Babineau made the play after a gain of 5. So we wish you all a happy Thanksgiving in advance and hope you're tuned to our pregame show at 11:30 Eastern, 8:30 Pacific. It'll be the 18th meeting on Thanksgiving between the Lions and the Packers. And you'll see it on Fox. And you always get some upsets somehow, some way. The team that is not expected to win always gives a better game. I'm not saying it'll happen this year, but I don't know how Seahawk tastes, to tell you the truth. 3rd down and 5. And here is the slant pass to Sidney Rice. Flag is down. Be a first down pending the call.
Illegal formation offense, number 71, was lined up in the backfield. 5-yard penalty, repeat 3rd down.
Bill Lodeholt, the rookie, 2nd-round pick from Oklahoma. Well, NFC North quarterbacks having a pre-Thanksgiving Day bash today. Brett Favre with 4 touchdowns, Aaron Rodgers and Matthew Stafford, and they will hook up on Thanksgiving Day this Thursday on Fox.
And Green Bay and Detroit both winning today.
Yep, 2 young quarterbacks. And how about Brett Favre? 88% completion today, both a single game and a career high Vikings record. Both personal and team records established for accuracy by Brett Favre today. Tavares Jackson taking off and going out of bounds with 6 minutes remaining. And 4th down coming up, short of the yardage, and Kluwe will come in to kick it. Well, the Seahawks, whose wins have come at the hands of the Rams, the Jaguars, and the Detroit Lions. 2 of them by shutouts, and they beat Detroit 2 weeks ago 32-20. and headed for their 7th loss in 10 games as Kluwe kicking to Nate Burleson from the 19. Taken out of bounds. And burying the veteran as well, Brett Favre. 21 touchdowns and only 3 interceptions. That still amazes many observers. Only 3 picks. Here's Deion Branch on the wide receiver screen. He'll get the first down and ridden out by Tyrell Johnson. So far with throwing touchdown passes to Harvin, Shanko, Berrien, and Rice. And Rice catching another from Tavares Jackson.
You mentioned the interceptions, Dick. How about this for Brett Favre? From 2000, how about this? 2005 to 2008, he threw 87 interceptions, an average of 21 per year. This year, only 3. Fantastic job.
Pass out to Forsett. All right, tough game. Kansas City putting on the Pittsburgh as Hasselbeck completes to Houshmandzadeh, gets away from a defender. And Houshmandzadeh getting inside the 30-yard line, and a first down. Jamarcus Sanford, rookie from Ole Miss, who beat LSU last night. An interesting game. 20-yard gain there.
Huge win for Ole Miss at home, beating another BCS-ranked team.
Nearly 4.5 to go. Tipped and incomplete. And Burleson had a shot at it. So it'll be 2nd down and 10. Hussein Abdullah in his 2nd year. Saints beating Tampa Bay 38-7 right now, 9-0. Dallas is down 6-0 to the Washington Redskins, and the pass overthrown into the end zone, intended for Houshmandzadeh and covered by 3 defenders. The Arizona Cardinals, who stand atop the NFC West, will be playing later. So they're the 4 division leader.
Dallas's struggles on offense continue for a 2nd week in a row. Struggled at Green Bay last week, and now with Washington at home and Albert Hainsworth, their all-star defensive tackle, is not playing.
Third down and 10. Hasselbeck intercepted by Asher Allen. Deion Branch, and Branch looking one way, the pass going the other way, and Asher Allen with his first NFL interception.
Good coverage out wide. Allen, number 21, working against Deion Branch, does a great job just sitting outside on the route. And that's exactly where Matt Hasselbeck delivers the ball. In a sense, it appeared that Asher was the receiver playing it against Branch.
So the Vikings get it back. That's the 2nd turnover.
Most interceptions are created with a little pressure on the quarterback, Jared Allen. Doing that to Matt Hasselbeck, Asher Allen's first career interception.
And the Vikings came in with a +4 in the turnover ratio. It'll be a first down. Tavares Jackson handing off to Taylor. And Taylor getting a couple of yards with Deion Grant coming up to make the stop after a pickup of 3.
They can play with anyone in the country.
2nd down and 8, and the slant pass intended for Greg Lewis is knocked away. Third down and 8 coming up for the Minnesota Vikings, and all over the Seattle Seahawks. And we were talking a lot about Steve Hutchinson today, and of course, as we take a look at the upcoming games of the Vikings, they're not playing Antoine Winfield, who had the ankle injury, so they've got a home game with Chicago, then at Arizona, home with Cincinnati, at Carolina, at Chicago. All challenges for them as Chester Taylor gets it out to the 22-yard line. A pickup of 5.
That's their 2nd timeout. 30 seconds.
3:34 remaining in the 4th quarter, and there is Hutchinson. And of course, in a lot of ways, that is a sensitive issue as far as the Seattle Seahawks fortunes, because it was in 06 when Seattle made him a transitional player, not a franchise player. And he personally felt the Seahawks didn't want him. They feel that they did want him. Whatever the problem was of the miscommunication, he left and signed with Minnesota to make that offensive line a lot stronger. And his loss seemed to keynote perhaps the problems that Seattle has had since then.
Yeah, post-Super Bowl. You know, just coming back after the Seattle Seahawks have gone to the Super Bowl, and now Steve Hutchinson wearing purple, and the Vikings' fortunes have risen.
Kluwe will be punting, and Burleson to receive the kick with 3.5 to go in the game. Good kick, good hang time, and Burleson is taken down by Lewis, the receiver, right in his tracks. "51-yard punt. No return."
Can't play special teams much better than that. Brad Childress said that his special teams have been terrific all year long. Had a little bit of a lull in their last ball game after the bye. Got their attention because they have not had a lull today.
So congratulations for the special teams players on the Minnesota bench, and a new quarterback, Seneca Wallace, who started 2 games with Matt Hasselbeck out with his rib injury. Now finishing up for the Seahawks, and the first pass behind Carlson incomplete.
That's a team that has improved all year long. Say what you want about Kansas City. They have gotten better every week.
Yeah, but they're playing Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh needs the game, and the pass by Wallace is batted up, and it only goes to show you that in this league, just when you think you have a softie.
No.
Right?
No. Philadelphia went to Oakland. That didn't work out very well for them. I mean, we could recount them all year long.
Leroy Guyon got his hand on it. Third down and 10. Pressure on Seneca Wallace, loses the ball, and taken down by Hussein Abdullah. And into the end zone. Let's see if it was down by contact, and it was at the 12-yard line. So a loss of 15.
On both sides of the ball, the Vikings have let the guys who are not their first-line guys play. They put Tavares Jackson in the game at quarterback, let him throw the football. Hussein Abdullah now in the ball game as a backup safety guy. They go safety blitz, and he helps make a big play happen after the bad snap.
So it's 4th down, and John Ryan will kick, and Darius Raynaud kicking from the 3-yard line is Ryan. Raynaud from the 26. And down he goes close to the 40. And Brett Favre with an 88% completion percentage, a personal career high and a Viking team high. First down, and the pitch going to Chester Taylor. Taylor brings it out after 2 yards, stopped by Mebane and Reed as we get close to 2 minutes.
2 quick observations, Dick. Number 1, in the pregame show, Pam Oliver, you know the guys she talked to? Visante Shenko, Bernard Berrien, Sidney Rice, and Percy Harvin. Aren't those the 4 who caught the touchdown passes today?
Yes.
So they want Pam to come visit every week. The second thing is, people are going to continue to ask, how good is this football team of the Minnesota Vikings?
This is the kind of day it's been for the Vikings. We showed you Brett Favre's 4 touchdown passes. How about this defense? Allowing 9 points, only 4 rushing yards. They've sacked Hasselbeck twice and caused 2 turnovers. Chester Taylor carrying it out to the 45-yard line. With under 2 minutes to go in the game, the Vikings leading 35-9. And we want to bring you up to date. Time permitting, we'll take you to either the conclusion of the game between the Falcons and the Giants. The Giants lead Atlanta 31-24 with just under 2 minutes to go, or the Redskins and the Cowboys in a surprise there. Dallas leading Washington 7-6 with a little over 2 minutes remaining. So time permitting, after this game, we'll send you to one of those. 3rd down and 5 with 1:17 on the clock. Here is Chester Taylor. Taylor going the other way, gets the first down. And Chester Taylor with a terrific reversal, 25 yards, and under a minute remaining. All smiles on the Minnesota Viking sideline today, Charles.
Chester Taylor trying to recreate the day he had against Seattle in 2006. You mentioned it earlier, Dick, 167 rush yards, one of them a 95-yard jaunt. And how about Tavares Jackson getting out in front and throwing a block and staying up? Didn't cut down a defensive lineman, which has become a very sensitive issue in this league.
You mentioned Shanko, who had 8 catches today. That's a career high. And final plays. And we want to thank our production and technical crew led by Pete Macheska, our producer, and Artie Kepner, our director, and our entire Fox